Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Apple Box Chronicles. My name is Peyton Buto.
And I'm Adryon Thomas.
And today on the ABCs, we are taking you from A to Z on Robert Zemeckis' 2007 animated, we would say classic, Beowulf.
Yeah.
This is also known as Adrion's Speed Racer.
Yeah, we were talking about it the other day, and I was like, what? Well, because you love Speed Racer. You've seen it several times in the theater now.
It's in my 5 favorite films ever.
Yeah. And I was like, what is my equivalent? And this is probably my equivalent, I think.
By the way, just on that note, if you haven't already, after you're done listening to this episode, it should be up by the time this is up. You could go listen to my interview, which was a bonus episode with Paulie Litt, who is Spritle in Speed Racer. So if you're a Speed Racer fan, definitely give that a listen. We talked for like 35 minutes. It's really cool. But we're here to talk about Beowulf.
Yes.
This is a film that I actually saw like 5 minutes of when I was a little kid because my uncle put it on at his house. And I was probably like 10. This was probably like 2012. And he was like, guys, this movie, like I used to watch a lot of movies that I saw at my uncle's house.
Yeah.
Because that was like the only time that someone was very interested in showing me like the films that they love. I feel like I had like the few movies that I really, really liked, and I didn't expand my horizons a lot until I got older and, made more friends and got more things, That's why I kind of am the way I am. I'm just like, I got my movies and I just obsessed. But my uncle showed me Beowulf, and he was like, guys, that's animation. Like at the beginning, he's like, that's fucking animation. Those aren't real people. Those aren't real guys. And I was like, okay. And he could tell that we were bored, me and my sister. So he was like, all right, fine. We don't have to watch this right now. And I never saw Beowulf until last week.
That's crazy because give it a few more minutes and then you would crazy stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And you probably
You know
like,
what? It's
holy
my
crap.
uncle's fault, really, because he could have been like, hold on. Just wait. I know you don't care about the king's marriage problems, but in a few minutes,
It's going to get crazy.
and I really wish that had happened, well, I don't wish that had happened because I'm happy with like the trajectory of my film journey as is, but it is curious to think about like
What kind of
what-
person would you
that
have
would have
been if
changed.
you
Maybe it would have
seen-
changed my life. I would have been Speed Racer fucking sucks. No, never. But the reason we're actually talking about Beowulf is because your birthday is this month, and each season we kind of do, I guess this is just a thing now,
Yeah.
like on our birthdays we each get to pick a movie and we just do an episode dedicated to that movie. So last year for you we did Apollo 13, for me we did Trap, and this year we'll probably do Speed Racer or something. But
maybe.
yeah, so that's kind of my history with the film as a kid. What about you?
I remember when they were first advertising or putting out trailers or whatnot. I just remember seeing part of the trailer on TV. I was like, "What is that?" I thought it was it looked pretty rated R to me. I was like, I didn't know you could do like a 3D animated film that's also like really violent. And apparently it wasn't rated R. It was PG-13, which is still kind of crazy.
You
even
would really
today.
think that this was rated R.
Yeah. I think even back then people were pretty astonished that they didn't get a rated R version. And I think it's because it's animated that you kind of... This is just my opinion, but I think because it's animated, you could kind of get away with some of the more gory, brutal stuff.
I think that's probably very true.
And it's also extremely exaggerated with its gore, so it's like it's not realistic to the point where it's like, oh, I could see that actually happening. It's like you're getting monster blood and things all up in this. In the scene and whatnot.
I can't recall the film, but there was definitely a movie that changed the color of blood to like green or something to avoid an R rating, or that was like what allowed it to be not
I
rated
know
R.
Taxi Driver, they had to like change, I think, the color grading in that very last
Yeah,
scene.
but I think there was like some kind of fantasy or animated film that did that with another worldly creature of some kind. Like they were like, oh, the blood is green, so it doesn't have to be rated R. You can have like a lot of it.
I mean, look at Predator Badlands.
That actually might be what I'm thinking about. Is because because people mentioned all the time, they were like, oh, because it's all creatures fighting. This is what I'm thinking about. Because it's all creatures fighting, there's no humans in that film. Actually, the only humanoid things are the androids in that movie, and that's why that movie's able to be PG-13. It's like that's like the best PG-13 action adventure movie like of this decade. That movie is so perfect for like kids that are like 15. That'd be like my favorite movie if I was 15.
It's honestly it's not similar to Beowulf, but it follows similar like aesthetic patterns.
I think it scratches a similar itch, and I think it's why you loved it as well, and I loved it too. I loved it a little more than I liked Beowulf, but I think the theater does that sometimes. I think I find Predator just inherently really cool.
No, I do think Predator. They do way more in that movie too, and it's more expanded.
Both films are in a way about masculinity and breaking a cycle. Speaking of which, quick note: Robert Zemeckis also shares your birthday, so this is a fun.
Yeah, this is just I didn't even think of that before picking this, but it kind of makes sense.
You know, I actually just watched Tusk the other night. Terrible podcaster representation in that movie, but another movie about toxic men.
Well, that was also when podcasts were like more niche.
Yeah, I guess so.
Today.
But when I was watching it, the girl in that movie, what's her name? Genesis Rodriguez.
Yes.
She shares my birthday. I found that out.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Fun fact. Anyway, let's get deeper into Beowulf.
I mean, I guess so. When I first saw this, I don't think I even saw it in a theater. I think it might have been on TV or maybe re-rented it or something. I also specifically remember watching this in a hotel. I don't remember where we. This is like way back in like 2008 or 9 or 2007 even, but they had a copy of Beowulf, because for some reason,
like on DVD.
This hotel had like DVD players, and
you should have stolen that.
They had a list of movies to play, and they had one of them was Beowulf. And
I don't condone stealing. I was joking because the movie is like out of print, right? Or at least it's hard to find. You kind of mentioned, we could be wrong about that, but you kind of mentioned that it was hard to find.
Well, I specifically haven't seen a copy like in person, because if I had, I probably had it by now.
Yes, that's one to always look for at like half price books. Yeah. Just see. You never know.
But I remember like putting that on in a hotel and like watching it with my brother, and it was like it's so cool. It's such a cool movie.
Yeah.
Like, I think the initial thing that drew me in was the like Alan Silvestri's music. I love the music in this movie. It's so stoic and like it almost reminds me of the Skyrim music, like at the beginning.
The movie is brimming with that kind of energy, and this is based on a poem.
Yeah,
like
it's based on an epic poem that I'm sure a lot of you have probably read in high school. I didn't. I wish I had, though. I kind of wish I had read this poem before doing this podcast so I could get more into it. But I have read up on what happens in the poem quite a bit before this, so hopefully we don't sound too stupid to the people who have read it.
Well, from our understanding, this does deepen the lore of the poem quite a bit.
A lot of historians don't like this movie because it does that. It kind of takes liberties, but I think it's cool because this is just another way in which movies are different from the initial media that they could be based on.
So what you're saying is this is Wuthering Heights for men.
I don't know about that. I feel like the liberties that Wuthering Heights takes are more, I don't know, maybe emotional.
Here
it's a bit more I think, logical.
I was kidding, but I also think I gotta say this. I found this so funny. I read a review of The Devil Wears Prada 2, and it said Top Gun Maverick for moms.
I was thinking of that. This is like I was thinking of what I could compare that movie to, and I was like, this is basically just like Top Gun Maverick, but for the rom-com. Like,
and I think the quality compared to the original and compared to like what people want from it is it's a very apt comparison.
Yeah. So, and I still haven't even seen it. I still want to see it.
It's being well received.
I love the first
But how
one.
was Beowulf received?
Honestly, if you talk to some people nowadays, I think people would say that it's a bad movie. But when it first came out,
Bunch of our fucking fake ass friends say that, bro. Bunch of our fucking fake ass friends say that, bro. But I was told that it wasn't good, and I'm sorry, I disagree.
Yeah, if you look at it when it came out, it actually got like mixed to positive reviews. It has like a 71 on Rotten. But the audience, crazy that the audience just doesn't like this movie, because it feels like such a crowd pleasing movie in the sense of like what action entertainment can be. But I think the reason why most people didn't love it was because the fact that it's an animated film, or that it's mocap, or not mocap, it's e-mocap.
I honestly think that this film, my favorite thing about it that you spoke about so eloquently in your Letterboxd 5-star review, which like I think you always get there with like when it's a movie that you feel so passionately about is good and everybody else is like whatever on it, you will like Godzilla X Kong.
Oh yeah.
You just like extrapolate like in an aggressive way. It's kind of great. I like it. But when I read that, I realized that's exactly what's special about this movie, is that it is such an interesting combination of tone and medium and like themes and the source material.
Yeah.
Like, and just the fact that it's PG-13, but it's pushing it.
Yeah,
like it's pushing it. Like, some of the stuff I couldn't believe.
Yeah, there's some like there's like straight up nudity in this movie.
Yeah,
like, not full like frontal, but like it gets close.
Yeah, and the fact that it's very funny, but it's not taking itself too seriously, but it's also not, I guess, laughing at its own stakes.
Yeah.
And it's a period piece, like historical movie based on an old poem, but it's also like animated.
Yeah,
it's
pushing the technical boundaries of what filmmaking can do at the time.
Right, but it's not like a historical epic that you would expect to see in live action with this kind of thing that would like win a bunch of Oscars for production design and costumes and all this, just make it really epic. It's not like that. It's like, no, we're gonna have an adventurous, fun animated movie that like, people can technically enjoy as kids and teens, given the rating.
Yeah.
I think for teens this would be like something that would segue them nicely into watching R-rated stuff as they're getting older.
Yeah.
But it's just this interesting combo. It's like it's funny and it's kind of silly, but it's also epic and adventurous. And I just think movies like this are not common in the way that it's like, let's take something that you would normally like. The way to make this successful, this kind of broke even. It did fine, but the way to make this successful would be like, let's make it live action. Let's get like Peter Jackson to direct it. Let's do like big scale battles and make it super serious. But no, it's like a fun animated movie that you can laugh at. We got pizza and drank Miller Lite and watched this shit. It was super awesome.
Yeah, no, this is like such a unique movie because, no other filmmakers were kind of doing this at the time, at this, I guess, this epicness to it. Because before that, there was Robert Zemeckis also did Polar Express, but that was kind of just tapping into what he would kind of more perfect with this movie and then Christmas Carol. And this would also be, this is just 2 years before Avatar would come out, which like broke everybody's minds because it wasn't animated completely like this, where it's a bit more cartoony, a bit more uncanny, where Avatar was much more based in like realistic, like, oh man, this could actually look like it takes place in a real world. But I do like the fact that this movie has more of a kind of that animated video gamey look to it, because I think it adds to the exaggeration of these big epic stories that are being told, and it needs to have kind of this like graphic novel look to it, for like, for instance, the sea monster scene. Like, you're trying to make that look realistic, like, you can't do that. Like, it's, your sea monsters are not real. So if you're gonna have them take on like somewhere between 3 to 9, depending on the story he's telling, how many sea monsters he takes on, it's all ridiculous. It's incredibly insane, but we have to see it, and if we're gonna see it, it might as well be insane.
I think it allows to kind of use the heightened stuff really well with the animation. Also, like, I feel like if live action, it would probably have some kind of way of presenting it without showing it directly.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't be as fun. It wouldn't be as good. That's my favorite scene in the movie, when he fights those sea monsters.
It's so fun.
Because it's so fucking funny to me how he, like, is in a race and he stops and he fights the sea monsters, gets on top of one of them, screams his own name, Beowulf, jumps back into the water, and like the way the camera just like whips back, and it's like it almost like resets.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because the camera, I feel like in that moment, gives some kind of introspective look into like how he's thinking, because it's like the camera, you know, moves so fluidly through the action, and then it resets pretty much exactly back to square one of that race, which is what he's doing, right, mentally. And I think that's the kind of stuff that, this is like my favorite stuff about Robert Zemeckis, is like he's always wanting to do interesting stuff with the camera and how it moves and where to place it. And even like in here, he's like, let's not even move the camera, you know. It's a very innovative, but also with the animation, it's like you can actually do that stuff. You can actually just literally reset the camera exactly to where it was. And it's not like, oh, this is almost exactly where it was. It's like, no, the camera is literally just reversing itself.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that animation allows for. The scene where you first meet Beowulf, he's on a ship and there's a big wave and it kind of pans out, or it pulls back and like you see the wave and then it resets right back to the characters.
It's incredible.
It's so fun.
You're and apparently this came out like during the big 3D boom, so people were able to see this in 3D.
Having a 3D Blu-ray of this would be so
neat. I wish I could have seen this in 3D. It would, like, when he gets the spear.
Yeah.
Like, that would be so cool. And you're not able to do that in live action, so I think that's really why Zemeckis pushed for more performance capture animated type films, because you could just do more. Like, look at Tintin, Adventures of Tintin with Steven Spielberg. Like, that movie is incredible. They're doing some crazy stuff in that movie that you can't do anywhere close to in live action, but you have this freedom with the camera and the editing that you don't have in live action. And I mean, you still can get certain performances out of your actors. Like they say, they call it a motion capture now instead of motion capture.
Yes.
Because
they did that with like Rango.
Yeah.
Where in Rango they weren't actually capturing for the animation in the motion itself, but they were having the actors act out those scenes so that the animators had that reference for the emotion.
Yeah, and it's I think there is a case in which people argue that this is just a cheap way of getting out of fully animating a movie, but I don't know. There's ways to animate movies that are completely out of the realm of, you know, how we live, like gravity and whatnot. Like there's
The physics are different.
yeah,
Yeah.
but with performance capture, you still have that weight to the characters, and that more of the realism.
It just the
And
idiosyncrasies of how they move and things like that. Also, this movie like makes the characters look like the actors.
yeah,
It's save for a few.
yeah, for a few of them, especially Angelina Jolie, uh,
Anthony Hopkins,
Anthony Hopkins,
Robin Wright,
Robin
John
Wright, yeah.
Malkovich. Brendan Gleeson's character like doesn't look as much like Brendan Gleeson, and then he grows up in a flash forward to look exactly like Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah, that I love that Ray Winston is really the only one who doesn't look exactly like himself, but I think that's because he is Beowulf, and so they need him to have a certain look. He needs to look more like
They can't
like
take
this,
as many liberties with the appearance of Beowulf
yeah,
because Beowulf is his appearance is essential to the thematic core of the movie. He
yeah,
has to appear a certain way that he kind of fits a certain description of the iconic hero that we're used to seeing in these kind of epic tales, and then it's obviously going to deconstruct that.
yeah, and which is fine. I don't think Ray Winston is like a bad looking actor or anything, but I
No,
think it is such a great choice to have him be Beowulf. His voice just works with it. The way he like just reacts and talks, and like the way
yeah,
his mannerisms, like all of that, it really works for the character.
I think makes a lot more sense, right, to have the voice be the main thing. Like you're looking for the voice and the speech patterns and the reactions that Beowulf should have, because the appearance you can take whatever liberty you need to.
Yeah, and I mean I think that's also a big thing with performance capture as well, is because you can't get that out of Ray Winstone if he were to do it live action. I feel like it just wouldn't feel like like a right Beowulf movie. But if you could kind of tweak certain things here and there about the way that it's presented, then you can make it look more. Uh, you can have more of a say of how the movie is like visually presented and how the movie kind of feels. I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe. I just like how they're able to do so much in kind of a shorter amount of time. It's almost like a cheat code.
Yeah, it's not even a terribly long movie. It's like 2 hours.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I love this movie. What else are we?
Well, there's a lot of lore differences and things being kind of filled in because of the poem having certain gaps in I guess not so much logic, but it just in like background and character motivations, and this movie kind of tries to fill all that in, and it's you described that the poem was a little more vignetted, whereas this is one continuous kind of seamless story, and so in a way it almost feels smaller but also more complete at the same time.
Yes, because in the original epic poem, and there's many different like translations to it. It's not like when like completed novel book that was sent out. No, this is like based off of years of like oral like hand me down, pass me downs, and like different stories layered on top of each other and added in and out. But they were able to kind of fill in some of the plot holes, not even plot holes, but some uncertainties in the poem that aren't really uh, described or talked about. For instance, when he kills um the Angelina Jolie the
Grendel's
Grendel's
mother.
mother,
Yeah.
he doesn't bring back her head, but he brings back Grendel's head, and it's like, we don't have any proof that you even killed her. There's
Well, yeah, he didn't.
yeah, he didn't. And even I think in the poem he doesn't have proof that he killed her, but we always assume that he did. This movie
So,
kind of adds more of a question. It's like, well, did he actually?
well, so I think this movie kind of makes, I think it implies that he didn't.
Yeah, he
Absolutely
didn't.
not.
Yeah,
It's that, yeah, in the original story you have that gap. It's like, what?
yeah,
But this movie, it's like very important that he didn't, and so it kind of makes that question essential to
yeah.
the themes of the story.
And I think kind of closing the movie into just being into that one location. I don't remember. I think
It's mostly there.
yeah. I don't remember where specifically. Like, is it Dutch? I don't know. I don't remember. But the fact that he doesn't go back to Geats or Geatland to be king, and is rather handed down the kingdom from Anthony Hopkins, I think is also kind of threading the lore to make it make a little bit more sense. I think this movie just really compiles all the stories and the heroic adventures of Beowulf into something more complete and more interesting.
It's just it's more succinct.
Yeah.
And it's got like this breaking of the cycle kind of theme to it. It's showing repetition of history, and it does it in such an economical way. I mean, you literally see, like, when he gets handed down the kingdom, immediately the crown tells a story and takes us into the future. Just the drawings on well, they're not drawings, but you know what I mean? The images on the crown.
Yeah, like the dragons and all that. And the dragon wasn't supposed to be like his well, obviously we're talking about spoilers here, but the dragon is his son in this movie, whereas in the poem I don't think he is. I think it's just literally just I think in the poem what happens is that they find like a slave steals the cup, the horn from the dragon, which is initially the dragon's, and he's like stealing the golden horn, which pisses the dragon off, and then it just wreaks havoc on the town. And then Beowulf, the new king, not the old king, has to like take him down.
Right.
Whereas in this movie, they kind of put it all together, where it's John Malkovich's like slave guy. He finds the horn in like the swamp just randomly, which is kind of like a calling back to the fact that, you know, the curse is now back on him, and he has to face his son, which is now represented as a dragon. And I mean, I think that's cooler than just ending the movie with a random dragon just attacking the town.
Yeah, what movie would do that? Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I'm just kidding. I love that movie.
I wasn't. Yeah,
I love that movie. That's a complaint I hear all the time.
Yeah, no, I love the movie too. I think it's really great. But
it's just everyone says there's just a random dragon at the end, so that reminded me of that. And you know, honestly, I see the criticism. It is kind of just like a big CGI fight at the end. Good movie, but one thing I really also appreciated was the fact that, like, again, the maturity of this film. It uses Grendel speaks a lot of Old English with no subtitles, and you're just gaining context clues.
Yeah.
And it works and it makes sense. And you are able to figure out exactly what's going on, but like for a second it's like, what?
Yeah, played by Crispin Glover.
Just straight up no subtitles.
But what is it? Top, bottom, or bottom three people?
Oh, Crispin Glover. There's a review. So Crispin Glover is, I don't know Crispin Glover personally or anything, but I hear he's not a good person.
Yeah.
And there was a Letterboxd review I read that was so funny of his film that he directed called What Is It?
Yeah.
Which is I have not seen, but you have, and it is
have.
a highly offensive
It's
movie.
It's one of the most bizarre things anybody could ever make.
I mean, it's called What Is It?
Yeah.
But someone's review was just like, I guess they had an encounter with Crispin Glover. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it cracked me up the way they wrote it. They said Crispin Glover is a bottom 5 human I have ever met in my entire life, and they've had
so
one.
funny.
They've had one interaction, and I just thought that was so funny. So every time I see him, I think of that.
Apparently, he is like kind of like basically crazy. Like
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I hear.
And but this is actually what do you? God, I'm just losing my words today. It's another collaboration between Robert Zemeckis and Crispin Glover from Back to the Future.
That's true.
Which there was a bunch of like Crispin Glover didn't.
He didn't return.
He didn't return for the second or the third one, but they had to get like a body double person for the second one. I think there was something about him like not liking Bob Gale and Steven Spielberg,
which is interesting because then now they're back together. I guess it got worked out.
Apparently.
But in terms of like, while we're on the subject of dialogue, we were discussing the dialogue in this film, and I think we kind of figured that it's a combination of kind of the tone and maybe the comedic sensibilities of what you would expect someone to speak like in a more modern way.
Yeah.
But it also has the verbiage of the time period. So the way they refer to objects and things is there's like these older equivalents to like those words.
Yeah.
But you can always tell what they're saying even if you're younger, I think, because of the way that it's presented and the context clues. And I feel like it's all very smart in that way.
I love it. I think it's really funny because it's in English, but they're kind of talking in kind of like this old way, and I don't know, it's just really funny to me. Like, I love the dialogue. It's like not, it's like they're serious about it, but it's so unserious in a way.
Yeah.
It is written by two probably top or bottom people also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's written by Neil Gaiman, who is not a good person. He's had so many accusers about certain things, and Roger Avery, who was the co-writer of Pulp Fiction, or story by, I guess. But he's not a good person either. He's doing like AI stuff. Awful.
I see.
But it's always ironic whenever these terrible people just come out with like a gem, because this movie is ironically very, I feel like it is anti like it's against like these toxic male
misogyny,
traits.
Toxic masculinity. It's like
There's
it's criticizing that stuff.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people have taken it at like
face value in a way.
Yeah, and has criticized the movie for being misogynistic. But I think the movie's trying to be the opposite of that. I think it's trying to say that that men are flawed. There is no true hero. There's always something happening. And
the way I put it is like, Beowulf is remembered for saving those people from the dragon or from Grendel. It's like, oh, what the hero does and like saves people, that's what we're gonna celebrate and remember him for. But it's like, you're not understanding that he was part of the problem as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was cleaning up his own mess.
Yeah.
So that has to be part of the story for you to understand.
Yeah, and even the people in the movie get it wrong. They celebrate him for being such a great king.
And that's it's literally not even what he asked for, because he told Robin Wright's character, he was like, remember me as like fallible and flawed, and then later Brendan Gleeson's like, he was the fucking goat. Yeah. I'm like, the cycle's going to continue if you do this.
It does continue by the end of the movie. Brendan Gleeson goes after Grendel's mother again, and it'll continue and probably continue forever and ever. Well, and I think that's also like people say it's misogynistic because it makes like the women, the Angelina Jolie character, like the evil, like women are evil and they control you and take over you. It's like, no, I think men are always flawed against women. They're like,
well, I think if they didn't see women as essentially an object,
yeah. Yeah, exactly. They succumb to their weakest like desires, and like that's gonna be the downfall. That's the downfall for so many people today, and I think it's saying that no, we need to kind of hold strong to what we actually believe in, and the stories that we tell shouldn't be ones of like one of exaggeration. We should be the people that we actually hold ourselves up to be.
Yeah, and additionally, the film interestingly, the first shot of the movie opens not on any male character or any hero. It's actually on Robin Wright's character, who we immediately can tell is not really in love with her husband anymore.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah,
and that's a whole thing that plays out during the movie. So I just think it's interesting. Immediately, it opens on that. It doesn't open on like celebrating.
Also, another thing that I love is that all the men are constantly lying to each other, even though at certain points they're cordial with each other. But they're constantly lying to each other. The only people that want the truth are the women in the movie. Robin Wright, she's the one who could see past his lies and see that he's been cheating, and she could see past Anthony Hopkins, and she kind of knows that he had an affair as well. She could see past all the lies, where all the men kind of revel in the lies. They revel in telling each other these extraordinary stories about what they do and the monsters they defeat. But it's an exaggeration. They're lying to each other, but in a way, it's making them feel good about each other.
It's almost an unspoken agreement that we're just all gonna lie.
Yeah. Not everything they say is a lie, but it's like this. Like even when Beowulf is talking to the king, at the very right before the king kills himself, he's like, "We know that she was no hag. Did you actually kill her?" And then he continues his lie. He's like, "Yeah, I slain her." And he's like,
okay. Right.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "All right, have fun
this
with you. It's your
yours
turn
now." Yeah.
Also, here's another moment for you. When they're going into the cave to meet the Angelina Jolie character, and he's with Brendan Gleeson, or no, sorry, it's when they're going to get the dragon at the end of the movie. He's with Brendan Gleeson's character, and he tries to tell him the truth of what happened, and Brendan Gleeson's like, "I don't want to hear it. Like, let's
you're Beowulf.
Like, no, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that." And that's the problem. It's like we don't even want to know the truth. Yeah. And in a weird way, that kind of makes this movie a little meta, because it's taking the poem and it's giving it more like of the it's showing the cracks a little more.
Yeah.
And it's saying, no, let's fill in the story. Let's tell the whole story. Let's not just tell the epic parts. Let's actually show the flaws.
I think that is the great thing about this movie, is that it is in a way constructively criticizing the initial epic poem, and it's saying give us something that's real. Like, there's no way. There's no way any of this actually happened. Yeah, obviously, it's a big, legendary, mythical story, but we're kind of seeing it through this, like, such a stoic and heroic narrative and voice. But where's the flaw? Where's the real?
Give it the context.
Yeah, where's the real meat?
Let's not just show the solution. What was the problem, right? Yeah. So I think it's a really interesting film. I also just think that it combines that sort of, it's almost like a literary analysis, a literary critique, as well as a really fun animated action movie that's both funny and mature and shows a lot of great forward filmmaking technology that was kind of emerging at the time, and that has only gotten better and better ever since. I mean, yeah, you look at the animation now, and you know, we could definitely make this film even to an even more detailed, even better degree now. But it's like this had to pave the way for some of the stuff we're seeing today. So it's a little undervalued.
I think so too. I think there could be an argument being made that it's like maybe it's tonally unbalanced, or maybe that they should have gone in one direction rather than another with this film. But I think it is such a unique take on how movies are able to adapt classic novels or narrations or stories without succumbing to most of the cliches. It's doing something different in almost every avenue of how this movie was made. It's doing something different on a technological level. It's doing something different on a narrative level, and kind of filling in certain plot holes and making characters more, two-dimensional, three-dimensional. And and it's also just so fun. It's so entertaining. Like, it's doing all this stuff while also just being just a joy to watch.
Yeah.
I love the music. I love the way it looks, like, camera-wise. I mean, even the not even bad CGI, but the kind of dated CGI like lends something to this movie that you wouldn't get if it were like fully realized, I guess.
Yeah. And it's a film I could see myself returning to and liking more and more as time goes on. But for now, on the first watch, great first impression. I enjoy learning about it. I enjoy talking more about it. I enjoy looking at it within the context of the time period it was created and what Zemeckis was doing. I mean, the more I watch his films, the more I'm like, oh man, this guy he's so creative with the camera. And I think that, in a sense, he can be kind of underrated. People like Back to the Future and Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
But, like, there's so much more. And
he has so many classics under his belt that people just kind of forget. Like,
Roger Rabbit, and like all like I'm not saying he's not an acclaimed, accomplished filmmaker in the eyes of so many, but at the same time, I do think he has quite a few underrated movies as well, or overlooked movies as well. Like, I think people look at movies like maybe Welcome to Marwen and Pinocchio, and they're like, he's washed. He doesn't have it. But Here was great.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm sure a lot of his more recent stuff that I haven't seen, I'm going to like. So, like, I don't know, The Walk. I haven't seen that.
I think his Christmas Carol is, like, one of the best adaptations of the Christmas Carol that's ever been made.
Yeah, I think I've only ever seen that as a kid, so I would need to watch it again. Polar Express, same thing.
Yeah.
We recently just watched Used Cars. That was great.
Yeah.
We should one day talk about that, because I think that film, I have some problems. I have some problems, but like also I feel like it's interesting because I feel like it has issues, but I get why they're there. But then at the same time, I feel like I don't know if I trust that the movie is actually indulging in those issues to say something, or if it's just kind of indulging as well.
Yeah.
But it's a really funny movie.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I love the guy. It's great that we share the same birthday, because I could just say like, we there's something me and George Lucas have in common.
Yeah, you, George Lucas, and him.
Yeah, but no, I love Robert Zemeckis. I think he's great. He has put out a few like not so great like Pinocchio. It's hard to really argue that could be a good film, but his other stuff is just so well made. Like he's such a and he's always trying to push for doing something different, and not like succumbing to the status quo or doing like the surface level stuff. He like even when he is doing surface level like stuff, it is still interesting to see like what he's doing, to kind of make it more than just that. Like for instance, like Flight. Anybody could have directed Flight, honestly, but you see that one scene in which the plane actually like crashes, and you're like, "Oh yeah, this is directed by Robert Zemeckis."
I need to see that one still.
No, yeah, it's that's also.
I'm
really
drunk
great.
now. I'm drunk right now.
But yeah, Beowulf, one of my favorites. I love this movie. I think it gets kind of a bad rap, but I think people just aren't really looking into it as much as they just see the dated kind of video game CGI and immediately they're like, oh, that's a bad movie.
Yeah.
But there's much more to it than that.
I'm going to give Beowulf on the first watch 4 out of 5 apples in the box. I think it could grow. I'm going to let it grow over time.
I kind of figured that would kind of be your rating. I mean, obviously mine is just 5 out of 5. I just love this movie.
You have more history with it than me. Let us know what you think of Beowulf and any thoughts that you have. Do you hate this movie? Do you also agree with us that it's a little undervalued? Leave us a comment. Send us an email. Follow us on other social media. If you're watching on YouTube, listen on Spotify. If you're listening on Spotify, watch on YouTube. You can see us and you can hear us say a lot more because it's not as edited down. Yeah. So it's kind of a balanced experience. But yeah, be sure to check out, like I said, the previous episode, the interview, and all of our other stuff. And we'll see you guys next Monday. Anything else you want to say?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. I've been Peyton.
And I've been Adryon.
And we'll see you next time on the Apple Box.